feels sacred, doesn't it? Sacred, wonderful moment. The topic this morning is choosing where to give. But before we talk about choosing where to give, I wanted to talk about what it means to give. It's defined as presenting or offering something without expecting compensation. And all of you, or most of you, gave many, many gifts to the rummage sale this week. There were thousands of items. We were just all kind of blown away how much there was. And they were all given with a sense of joy. But there were some that were given because people were downsizing. As we get older, we're like, we've got way too much stuff. And so those that were donating out of a sense of downsizing did it out of a sense of relief. It's going to a good cause. It was really beautiful to watch. And on Friday and Saturday, so many people were walking out of here with big smiles on their face. And there were times when I was helping with the taking the money, and there were times when a dress was $3 or $2. The person thought it was $2, and I said it's $3, and they thought, oh, I can't do that, and they set it aside. So just know that there were many, many people here who treasure every gift that was given, and it was a beautiful thing to watch. And of course, the 50 or 60 people that were here to clean up, it was just humming. Charlie said nobody was talking, we were just humming, packing things that were left, and the teenagers are going to have their own yard sale. So that was another beautiful thing. So it's a circular process, isn't it? We give, we receive. We may not receive monetarily, but we receive in our heart. We receive joy, we receive such a sense of how valuable those things are to the people who purchased them. So it's a wonderful thing to watch. But then there's also those times when I've been expected to give something, and I give. And I'm going, okay, that's done. Where's the joy? No, it's when you want to give. Because it's true, it's done unto us as we believe. Last week, if you were here, and we took up a special collection for the Penske guys, bless their hearts, they came Thursday, and out of their truck of stuff, they donated old Science of Mind magazines. That was what they had to give. It was so sweet. I've got them in my office. I don't know what I'll do with them, but they kept saying how they were still in shock and awe about the goodness of this community. And they were crying, of course. And they had found relatives living in Modesto, and they contacted them and they said, come down, come and stay with us. So they were crying because they were happy, they were crying because they were leaving, they were crying because they've been at the mission now for 2 months, and now they could move back to the sense of family. They were so thrilled, but they kept saying, we're never going to find a group like yours. We're never going to find a church like this. And I thought, that's not a good thing to believe. So I went in and I looked up the Modesto Center for Spiritual Living, and I gave them the address, the phone number, and everything they needed. I said, oh, no, you will. They're waiting for you in Modesto. So, it's circulation. We don't want them to think we're the only good people, great people in the world. We're happy that they've found a new home, and they are so, so grateful for all of you. So circulation keeps the universe vital and alive, because what comes up must go down, and what comes around goes around. And so I pulled some books off of my shelf this week, and Deepak Chopra's one, 7 Spiritual Laws of Success. He says the second spiritual law of success is giving and receiving, because the universe is a dynamic exchange of energy where nothing is static. Nothing is static, not even this podium. There's little atoms and things moving around here, and I can't see it, but it feels solid. But the truth is, it's all a dynamic exchange of energy. So I want you to participate in this with me right now. So everybody take a deep breath and hold it. Keep holding. Keep holding. You can't. Keep holding. You have to circulate it. And I appreciate people talking about carbon dioxide, but what you exhaled is now being picked up by the trees and the bushes outside, and they're creating oxygen, and there's this great great circulation going on. So it's awe-inspiring, actually, to me when I think about it, the breathing of planets and people on Earth. And I love the way Chopra suggests that when we're feeling down, we can kickstart this energy, this aliveness in us. When we come into, we see anybody, whether it's in a store or walking down the street, whatever, when we see somebody, we can give them a little gift. We can smile. We can, if we're talking to someone, we can really pay attention to what they're saying. These are all gifts, and they're precious gifts. In this world today, they're precious gifts. And he said we can activate this dance of giving and receiving, and he calls it the eternal throb of life, the heartbeat of the universe. Isn't that cool? The heartbeat of the universe, giving and receiving. I know when our team delivers food to the People of Progress Food Bank, or clothing, shoes to Living Hope, the group that creates food for the homeless on the fourth Friday with the Hope Van. It's done out of love. It's done out of gratitude that we can do that to help other people. But when you see the faces of the people who are getting these things, oh my gosh, are they ever grateful? They are so grateful. And so choosing how to give energetically is the key. We don't give out of have to, obligation. We're choosing consciously how to give our time, like all the people that worked on the parking lot sale this week, our talent, and our treasure, our money. Now, Mary Manon Morrissey is a great prosperity teacher. She's just incredible, and if you've taken her Prosperity Plus class, you know she really understands giving and receiving, and she's a big believer in tithing, giving 10% back to God. She's practiced it most of her life. In her book, Building Your Field of Dreams, she wrote about a time years ago when she had been giving self-esteem classes and workshops at school districts, and she finally decided she could turn it into a ministry. And her husband agreed, and they started this traveling ministry. And so they took their kids out of school for a year. They had $300 in cash. They had 2 cats and a car and a trailer, and they lived in Oregon. So they headed to California first, and then they went along the southern states, headed for Florida. Well, within 2 days of leaving Portland, the brakes on the trailer locked as they were driving. And of course, it came to a screeching halt. Everything flew everywhere in the trailer. It was quite a mess. And Mary was thinking, now, wait a minute. We're doing this for God. Why did that have to happen? You know, because to fix it out of their $300, it cost $172 to fix the brakes on this little camper. So from that point on, what she found is they always seemed to have just enough. Always just enough. They did 10 workshops in 4 months, and they got to Florida, and they had $3. $3. Boy, she was mad. She's walking on the beach going, what's up with this, God? I've given my life to you. We've traveled all this way. We've done all this work. And she said, I need a sign if we're supposed to keep doing this. And she saw a penny in the sand. And she said, well, that's a start. I don't know if I would have said it, but, this is some time ago, so. So she went to the store, and she bought, I think this is another funny thing, she bought 2 bags of peas, and I guess in Florida you can get green peas or yellow peas. But she thought, if I get 2 different kinds, the kids won't know. These are 2 different meals. They'll think they're different meals. So anyway, she had supper figured out for the next 2 nights. So she's standing in the checkout line, and you know those moments when you hear the voice? I mean, it is loud. It comes out of nowhere. You don't expect it. And the voice said, you're tithing your time and your talent, but you're not tithing your money. Whoa. She thought about that for a minute and went, wow. Went back to the campground where they were. There was a little chapel donation box. She put 30 cents in the box. And from that time on, she's been tithing. I don't care what she finds. 10% goes to God. So her teaching is, if you hoard the best seeds instead of planting them in the earth, your crop will always be stunted. not that it'll die, but it'll be stunted like her trip cross country. It just didn't thrive. She realized that for constant circulation, you have to circulate your time, your talent, and your treasure. Keep it circulating, keep it circulating. Because if we don't open those up, there's no room for the grace of God to come in. There's just no room. And to accelerate it, it means to consciously think about this. So it was very evident here this week, all the giving and receiving and all the love that was part of that. For a church or a center like this, we often talk about giving, and sometimes it seems like a sensitive subject, but when you think of the buildings, the grounds, the ministers, all our programs wouldn't be here without you. Without you, your time, your talent, and your treasure. You know, I don't have any idea where my life would be at this point if I did not have this center in my life since 1989. I really don't know, because it's such a key part of my life. I give my time, I give my talent, and I give my treasure. I choose to support it in a big way, and I know many, many of you do also. Otherwise, we wouldn't be so successful. Yet there's other wonderful nonprofits in the world, aren't there? And so there's part of me that goes, where do I spend the time, talent, treasure when it comes to other wonderful nonprofits? Haven Humane comes to mind, you know. And I give monthly to Doctors Without Borders. Fabulous organization, does so much good in the world. And I give to K-Love Radio, Christian radio, but in the half-hour drive to and from here every day, that's what I listen to. So I have to be happy, I have to be joyful, and I hear the goodness of everybody else who calls in and says, you can't believe what your radio station did for me this week. I also support the Human Kindness Foundation, and they bring the Prison Ashram Project to prisons all over the country. And they bring other spiritual resources to prisoners. And I have a special relationship, a special place in my heart for prisoners who want to walk the spiritual path while they're in prison. As you know, I've been corresponding with one, Michael, for almost 9 years now. And he's made amazing strides on the spiritual path. And just the other day, I got a letter from him, and he said, you know, I thought I was doing so well, and I took this course that they offered, Understanding the Criminal Mind. He said, I finally got it, where all those thoughts and attitudes and beliefs came from that brought me here to prison for life. And blending that with spirituality, it's just been an amazing thing. It makes me cry when I read his letters. He's so smart anyway. But he's still learning. He said, I want to take the next 2 classes they offer. So anyway, and People of Progress, obviously another one we give to, and I give to. So the question is, here at the center, how much of my treasure shall I give, and how often shall I give? And you know, I've received so much. It's my spiritual home, my rock, my solid connection with God. And when it comes to my time, number one is my husband. Sorry about that, but it's the way it is, my big sweetie, because he keeps me in balance. Paul is wonderful. I was here Thursday, and they said, Mary, Paul's calling, and I went in, and he goes, so how's your talk coming? You know, he's worried about me. Your talk better be good. What are you doing? How are you blending your time, you know? And so I had to laugh, but he's just like that. He's a real sweetie. And so other than time with him, most of my time is spent here with the center with you, doing what feeds me as a soul. So in pulling books off the shelf, I also went to Dr. Catherine Ponder. She's also another very, very famous prosperity teacher. And she wrote, theologians often tend to stress what tithing does for the church instead of what it does for the person. I had someone leave the 9 o'clock service and said, that's true. Every time I hear the word tithing, I go, uh-oh, is it time to leave? But she said, we have to talk about what it does for the person. And tithing, which typically means 10% of our financial good, she says typically people give it to their place of worship where they get their soul fed. But upon closer examination, it's a spiritual practice only when we conclude that giving and receiving is a practice, that we are blessed through tithing, because in the end, it's all God. To help clarify her belief in Tithing to the Spiritual Home, she said in her book, Open Your Mind to Prosperity, to receive spiritual help from one place but give to another is like going to one doctor and paying a different doctor, or going to a restaurant and paying the restaurant down the street for the meal. I thought that was pretty clever. So I opened Joel Goldsmith's book, Consciousness Transformed, and he said, there's been a mistake made on the subject of tithing. Well, that piqued my interest. Although it was discovered that those who do tithe don't know lack or limitation, it's believed that if you could just teach this to everyone, everybody would be prosperous. But that's not the way it works. It only works when the person giving recognizes they've received, when they give in gratitude, when they give with the realization that they are thankful for all the gifts they've got, when they realize this is God's grace that enables me to give. That's when the circulation is going. Not just giving and say, okay, God, come on. No. So the ones who give in that attitude are the ones who also receive. And Marilyn Leo, she's a wonderful person. In our home office, there's a room that's called the Science of Mind Archives, and she's in charge of it. And she knew Ernest Holmes. She knew everything. She knows everything he wrote, everything he said. On the listserv, if somebody says, did Holmes ever say this? Everybody goes, ask Marilyn. It's just, she knows it all and where to find it. She's an expert on everything he said and wrote. And she said that Holmes explained the concept of tithing very succinctly when he wrote this. Everything in nature moves in circles. What goes out must come back. Unless a seed is sown, it can't bear fruit. There must be a planting time in order to have a harvest. Who gives all receives all. Those who refuse to give limit the possibility of greater good returning to them. The seed that is planted must correspond to that which we desire in our experience. Did you hear a percentage point in that? No. No. 10%, 5%, 2%. Only you know what is right for you to give wherever you give. But the greatest deterrent to giving is fear that we're not going to have enough, which was perfect when I read Mary Manin Morrissey's trip to Florida, fear of not having enough. Taking all those months, 4 months of work and having $30, it's just amazing. So the consciousness of never having enough builds and builds and builds, and you never have enough. The law of cause and effect. So several times over the last few years, we've offered Mary Manin Morrissey's Prosperity Plus program. And the first night of class, she says, you're going to receive unexpected income if you put these principles into practice. And when you do, if you want to take this class, 10% goes to your center. And I'll tell you, I remember when I taught it, it was like, what? 10%? But like she says, but you got to keep the extra 90%. But it's an unexpected income. And what was surprising to the students is the amount of unexpected income they received, thousands of dollars. It was just amazing. And they gave 10% to the center, and that was fine. But at first, the hesitancy, the fear, like, oh my gosh. But in the end, the bounty they received. So next month, October, we're going to be kicking off our 2018 intentional giving program to give you time to plan for what might work for you for the center. Because we have a budget, and it's based on what we assume we'll receive, and the intentional giving program is a pledge that can be changed, but it's a pledge so that we know, okay, we're going to get this much, here's our expenses, here's what we have to do. Over the last 8 years, it's varied a little bit, but it still is it takes $20,000 a month to run this center. Now, that sounds like a lot. It is a lot. I wish I made $20,000 a month. But there's the mortgage, utilities, wages, operations, liability insurance, workers' comp, blah, blah, blah. It goes on and on. It's a business. And we are grateful to have a good financial management team. They are awesome. They nitpick the pennies. And they keep this close eye on the balance of income and expenses. And when we have to make cutbacks, which we've done a couple times this year, we do it. Don't worry about it, just do it. We're going to balance it. And then at the same time, there's no negativity there because we're always assuming you're doing your best. Always. That's what Emma preaches. That's what we believe. You're doing your best. If it's tough, hey, we'll take the hit with you. But when there's extra and extra comes in, the management team says, oh, we can reinstitute this program, or we can do more here or more there. So it's always in balance, the circulation. So, Jesus said, give and it will be given to you, which is this divine channel. And I look at the divine channel here at the center, which started years ago when Dr. James and Dr. Andrea decided it's time to build a building, it's time to have property, it's time to have a place that we do call home. And since that time, I think it was 1991 when the building all started, many people have come and gone, but many ideas have rested here and been the reason things have continued to grow and expand. And so many ideas, many people, lots of seva, lots of time, lots of talent, and lots of treasure. The world of our senses is very strong, and I think about this when I go on vacation. We took a cruise a couple weeks ago, and after a few days, you're just so relaxed. You don't think about anything else. And when you come home, it's like, oh yeah, time to get back in this groove. And then I forget all of you. It's like, wait a minute, did I miss you? Well, I kind of let my mind go elsewhere. But I'm coming back and I'm going, oh my God, I'm so glad to be home. Don't you feel that sometimes? I'm so glad to be home. Because Paul and I don't have a wide range of friends anymore because they all died and went to retirement homes. Our best friends. So you're it. You're it. And some of us are going to end up there someday too. But it just shows the importance of love here and support and just laughter. How much laughter we had this week. It was just incredible. So all of us are individual souls finding our way home, just like the prodigal son. I love it when new people come in because we joyously welcome them here. I mean, why not? They're children of God. This is who we all are. So we're here to express life as both a giver and a receiver in this circular relationship with God. And so I encourage you this week to meditate on this point. My life is God's gift to me. What I do with my life is my gift to God. That's it. So let's pray. With Judy's wonderful music behind us. My life is God's gift to me. What I do with it is my gift to God. And this morning I rejoice in the joy I feel and the love I'm feeling in this room. I rejoice in all those who have given so much. So much this week and every day and every week. The years the center has been here and continued to be a rock of love and a rock of connection with God is so powerful in my life that I fully support it as best I can. And I'm sure you do as best you can. So we relax in this love, this pool of just love and joy. We relax in it, knowing every day is on time, in time, it's perfect. A snag here or there, we go, well, it was time to just take a breath. Not just in, but out. To keep that divine circulation going. So in gratitude for the wisdom and the knowledge of all those teachers who have gone before, I say thank you. And I let this new year unfold in the perfection it is meant to be. I accept it for myself and for you, our whole community, as we also offer our prayers to the world for greater love and harmony. And so it is.